And now, what I'm doing today is I'm removing the steering rack, which has 3 half-inch bolts on each side. There, and there. Okay, so there's 2. And there's 3 half-inch bolts. We don't need to take this one off. The clamp can stay on there, but has to take that one off. Now there's shims under there, so we have to make sure we keep them. And the other thing is I have to take off this half-inch nut and bolt that holds the steering column in. This is really the only thing left, that and the brake line, to take off of the front of the car. Obviously I'm going to have to pull all that, but I have replacement parts for the heater pan. You can see why. And for the heater box itself, I have those. Yeah, I mean, she's pretty much ready to go onto the rotisserie. I got to take off the little brake lines and stuff. That's not a big deal. And I have gone and cut the ends. You saw a while back I made the legs for it. So I've cut the ends. And now I am going to weld this up. You'll see how it all goes together later, but I'm just showing you. I actually have to take this somewhere. A buddy of mine has a better welder. Mine is a cheapy welder, and even on the max settings, it doesn't get hot enough to really penetrate. So all I've done is tack this together, and I'm going to send it off. These here, the cross piece will go against a piece of plywood at the radiator supports. That's going to be bolted to that. And this piece here will be tacked onto the thing. It's got the holes in there. That's going to go on, well, I shouldn't say on, it's going to go against this piece so that the holes will go into, one of the holes will go into, no matter where it's rotated, into one of those to hold the angle in place. This is the piece that's going to go right there, more or less. So I'm going to bolt that in. The circle is more or less where I think the center of gravity of the car is going to be. I think it's about 2 inches below the top of the tunnel. So yeah, that's how that's going to go. And then the back side, I borrowed this, which fits perfectly over the signal light holes, bolts in, and it's got that square on there. So I've got that, which will go over that, right? Bolt together, and that's going to have the 1-inch bar coming out here in order to pivot on the top of the thing. So in order to get all this ready so it can go on the rotisserie, I have to get the steering rack off. That's why this is kind of disjointed. I'm going to be posting plans for the entire rotisserie here fairly shortly. I've been really bad about keeping my website and videos up to date. I just haven't been. I've gone out, worked for 5-10 minutes, and then gone in because it's just, I've been so busy. But anywho, that's where I'm at. We will talk to you soon. One last thing, when pulling the steering rack, these are 7/16. So we'll need to pull those as well in order to get the steering column to move. And the steering rack is now off. Wind's picking up a bit, so sorry about the sound. Steering rack's now off. In this case, this is the top here. You can see the imprint on the, and the shim is on the passenger side front face. So it was against the forward facing side of the frame rail. I've got it twist tied in place there, and I've always thought that the spacer went on top, but in this case it went on the front. So I've twist tied it in place so I remember where it was on the passenger side. I've taken off the actually, what size are these? These are 1/2-inch bolts. They're all going to go into a plastic bag with it. That obviously came off. This leather washers are going to have to be replaced. I'm going to have to rebuild the whole steering rack just because. And then the steering column, what I wound up doing was, of course, taking this nut and washer set off, sliding the entire steering column out of its sleeve and going forward, because this bit here wouldn't fit through the tiny little hole that the steering rack goes through. Well, maybe it would. I didn't feel like fighting with it. This came off. These two washers here, I've marked it. They go against the firewall. Just in case that tape comes off, I'm recording this. So it's firewall, washer, sleeve, which is really rusty inside. And then this collar, which has, you know, the nuts, the bolts. I've taped them in place so that I don't lose them. And it has a spacer as well between the top of the footwell here, right there, between that and the bracket. There's the spacer, which is twist tied in place as well. So all in all, that's out. Now I can remove that brake line. Now these little clips here, you can see that they just come out. They hold the brake line in place. Come on. This squeeze and pull basically. That one's being stubborn. I'll get some pliers and grab it. But I'll try one more time. But yeah, you've seen these clips before. Oh, there. Oh, almost. Wow, that's in there. Okay, well, I'll get it out later. There's one there to hold that in place. That's to hold this brake line, which is for the driver's side front wheel from where the four-way brake thing goes right there. This one goes to the back. There's another one of those clips right here. So when this comes out, that'll come out. And on left-hand drive cars, of course, this line here goes up and across to the master cylinder. And then this one here, I think, goes down to the clutch slave. And it's got another little, it's like an extension. Because on right-hand drive cars, of course, it's over here. So this part's a little different. So I still got to get a couple of little screws in that are rusted in. I've, for the most part, been ignoring those. Guess I got to stop ignoring them now. So that's where we're at. Yeah, we're going to get this thing up ready for rotisserie here pretty quick. Thank you. Here we are back again. So as I said, my welder doesn't get hot enough. So this is only tacked together badly because all the weld just sits on the surface. I'm going to take it to, like I say, get a buddy to do it with a bigger welder. So that goes there, more or less. Lines up with the center of gravity on the pole, on the center bit here. And that bit on the top, this will go on one of the whatchamacallits, the uprights, and then as the car spins, I'll be able to lock it in. So that's the, and of course those holes will line up with these holes. So yeah, and the back, of course, that's tacked together. This piece here goes on the back of the car. And then this will bolt at whatever height lines up. I think it's going to be the middle set. So those holes are lined up because I, measured. So once that's all welded together, then this will go through the other upright. So yeah, there's one of the uprights here. Now the uprights are interesting. I have casters to go on the bottom. The uprights are interesting because, let's see if I can get this out of here. It's quite a bit of weight to it, so it doesn't. There we go. Because when I put this thing together I drew a scale drawing of it and then took a measurement on the car, and the clearance won't quite be right. So that's going to sit up there. And then where did I put, here's one. When I built that cart, I could only get 7 foot long 4x4s. I wanted 8 foot, but I could only get 7 foot. That's all they had. So those 4x4s are the 4 corners, 16 inches. So when I cut the 7 foot, I used 4 foot down, 3 foot up. Didn't give me quite enough clearance. I had some left over from 4 16-inch pieces, which I cut in half. And that will sit on top like that, which will give me extra height, which will give me extra clearance when the boards go across. You'll see what I'm talking about. So this board here that just fell is going to come up here. Screw, 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 all the way down. Then I've got some side plates. I'll come to the side that's better lit. So then I got some side plates that are going to go here. And then one of the uprights, I'm going to have a nail plate. The other one of the uprights is going to have that lining up with the hole. So that the end piece will be able to tie in. I'm going to drill these last holes for the 90, 15, and minus 15. I'm going to drill them once it's on, because then they're going to go into this. So yeah, that's how this is all going to go together. I think I said before, measure everything up, post plans, yada yada, for people who are interested, and we'll go from there.